In this video, we're covering the different types of guard that you can play, and there are a lot of options, so it's important that you understand exactly where these guards fit in. Although at this stage of your journey, we are just focusing on learning the ones we think you should learn first. This video is really to make you aware of what is out there. So you can really break guards down into 5 different categories. We've got closed guard, we've got open guards or outside leg positioning, we have half guards, we have inside positioning guards, and we also have leg entanglements. Within each of those categories, there's a subset of grips that you might use that define a particular guard. And generally, guards from one category tend to link with other guards from the same category. Closed guard is when you've got your feet locked around your opponent's torso. It's an excellent guard to use to set up submissions and sweeps, and it's also very safe. It's very difficult for your opponent to mount any offense against you. There are a few subtypes of closed guard. The standard closed guard would be just having our legs locked around the waist. We can also climb our legs higher and get around the corner to a position we call high guard. This gives us a great opportunity to attack arm locks and the back. There's another variant of the closed guard which does require a bit more flexibility, called the rubber guard. Open guards with your feet on the outside, so outside leg positioning, are very common in competitive grappling. You see these variants used for attacking the backs with movements such as the berimbolo, for attacking the upper body, particularly in the gi, and for getting to leg entanglements. When I say outside leg positioning, I'm talking about our feet being on the outside of our opponent's legs or in front of their torso, and particularly not on the inside of our opponent's legs, as we'll talk about later. One of the benefits of having both feet on the outside is you have a strong advantage in terms of guard retention, so it's difficult for your opponent to mount good offense. Examples of open guard with outside leg positioning are the K guard, where we've got our feet on the outside, knee on the inside, and we're attached to our opponent's leg. This is great for setting up leg entanglements and leg locks. De la Riva is when we put our foot on the outside of our opponent's leg with a hook threading through to the inside. This is an excellent position to begin to set up back takes or sweeps. In the gi, we have the added bonus of being able to control our opponent's posture. Because of that, we can start to set up upper body attacks. Here we have guards such as collar sleeve, where we were able to start to separate and isolate our opponent's arm to set up triangles, arm bars, and omoplatas. We have the lasso, where we thread our leg over our opponent's arm and underneath their armpit. This blocks their ability to pass our guard, while we're able to start to set up a sweep. The last of the outside leg positioning guards is the spider guard. This is where we control both of our opponent's sleeves, and we have both feet attached to the biceps. Spider guard leads to upper body attacks such as the triangle, armbar, omoplata, as well as sweeps, back takes, and leg entanglements. Half guards and variants of the half guard involve having one foot on the inside of your opponent's legs and one foot on the outside. The benefit of playing a half guard is that you can often slow your opponent down. It limits their movement because you're attached to their leg, where the general aim is to isolate your whole body against their leg to usually set up a sweep. There's generally less opportunities to finish from half guard, it's less submission heavy, with the main focus being to get on top. Against a standing opponent, there's 2 different types of half guard we could play. The sit-up guard is where we sit forward, gripping onto our opponent's leg with our arm, and we've got our legs with one leg in and one leg out. This is predominantly used to sweep our opponent and to come up in towards a single leg takedown. Reverse de la Riva is the style of half guard we play if we've got a standing opponent but we're on our back. The outcomes we're looking for from reverse de la Riva are more similar to what we look for when we're playing open guard and outside leg positioning, and it's often used in conjunction with those styles of guards. Although we can link it with our regular half guard styles, where we start to attach our upper body to the leg. There are 2 types of half guard where we use the knee shield. You can use a high knee shield or a low knee shield. The low knee shield is often called Z guard. The use of knee shields is an excellent defensive posture against someone who's trying to pass heavy and pressure on their knees. It allows us to make space and recover back to our preferred style of guard. This might be to set up underhooks and continue to attack from half guard, or to recover back to an open guard or inside leg positioning guard. The underhook half guard, where we get an underhook on the same side as the leg that we have trapped, is considered one of the best forms of half guard for setting up sweeps. It's a versatile guard that has utility in MMA, competition grappling, and self-defense. Deep half guard is where you scoot down so far underneath your opponent that you're able to isolate your opponent's leg, and they end up too high on you so they're unable to effectively apply their weight. Deep half guard is useful for setting up sweeps, and it's well suited to people with limited mobility in the actions of sitting up or lifting their hips up off the ground. Inside leg positioning guards have become quite common recently, particularly in no-gi submission grappling, due to the ability to get underneath your opponent, get to leg entanglements, and look for leg locks. The general strategy is if your opponent is standing, you look for shin to shin and try to get into single leg X guard. And if your opponent is kneeling, we look for butterfly or half butterfly. Shin to shin involves placing your ankle to your opponent's ankle and gives you the ability to elevate that leg to attach into single leg X or X guard. Butterfly is a great guard to set up sweeps, whereas half butterfly generally involves you scooting deeper underneath your opponent, bumping them forward and getting to leg entanglements, either the saddle or single leg X, with the added bonus of upper body attacks. Another guard, which we will call inside positioning, although it could be considered a neutral guard as well, is just the seated guard or distance butterfly. This is where we're seated and attacking a kneeling opponent, but we haven't yet placed our feet on the inside. Here we can look to take the back, come up into front headlock, or drive through for a double leg. The last type of guard to talk about is leg entanglements. It's an upgrade in your positioning to go from one of the previous guards into a leg entanglement. When you get a leg entanglement, you've really tied your opponent up and you're right underneath their base. This gives you a great chance at off-balancing for a sweep or to set up leg attacks. It's important for the advanced practitioner to develop a good leg entanglement game because traditional sweeps and off-balances often aren't enough to actually get on top of your opponent, and you need to upgrade to a leg entanglement to achieve that outcome. Single leg X is when we're attached with both our upper body and our lower body to our opponent's lead leg. It can be used to sweep our opponent or to set up leg locks. X guard is when our upper body is attached to our opponent's lead leg and our legs are attached to our opponent's far leg in the shape of an X. This gives us a greater ability to stretch our opponent out and is excellent for getting on top. 50-50 is a symmetrical leg entanglement where your opponent's leg is across your body and your leg is across your opponent's body. Bringing the leg crossbody begins to expose your opponent's back, so we have a greater ability to attack back takes and potentially the inside heel hook. The guard position has been highly developed with a vast array of types of guard. It would be impractical to list them all. Here we covered the main guards you should be aware of. It's important to remember that eventually you'll have a particular style that will probably incorporate a few of these guards that link together well.